All right, all right, all right. Gather around, travel enthusiasts. If you've got a bad case of the travel bug, well then, you've come to the right place. We're about to jet off on a whirlwind adventure across Europe, exploring the hottest destinations you absolutely, positively cannot miss. That's right, we're talking bucket list destinations, folks. The kind of places that'll have you saying Mamma Mia and Ooh La La in no time. Buckle up, because we're about to embark on a visual feast, from ancient ruins to modern marvels. Stunning landscapes, vibrant cultures, and delicious food await. Grab your passport, pack your bags, and get ready to say bonjour to Europe. So, without further ado, let's dive right in, shall we? First up, we're whisking you away to the breathtaking island of Santorini, Greece. Picture this: whitewashed houses perched atop dramatic cliffs overlooking the sparkling Aegean Sea. It's like something straight out of a fairy tale. Wander through narrow streets, discovering hidden cafes and boutiques, and the sunsets. Oh, the sunsets. Imagine sipping local wine, watching the sky explode in colors. Santorini isn't just about pretty views and romantic sunsets. This island is steeped in history, with ancient ruins waiting to be explored. And don't even get me started on the food. Fresh seafood, tangy feta, juicy olives, and delicious tomatoes. Trust me, a trip to Santorini is a feast for all the senses. Now, let's talk about those sunsets, shall we? I mean, they're practically legendary. Imagine yourself perched on a rooftop terrace, the sun slowly dipping below the horizon. The sky transforms into a canvas of fiery oranges, vibrant pinks, and deep purples. It's the kind of view that makes you want to pinch yourself. And the best part, you don't have to be a millionaire to enjoy it. You can find charming little cafes and restaurants all over Santorini. Just grab a seat, order a glass of Assyrtiko, and prepare to be mesmerized. Next up, we're off to the City of Lights, the City of Love, Paris. Our Paris, romantic strolls along the Seine, cozy cafes, and of course, the iconic Eiffel Tower. It's a city that oozes charm and sophistication. Explore world-class museums, indulge in delicious pastries, and soak up the ambiance. From Montmartre to the Champs-Élysées, every corner has a story. The Eiffel Tower is a must-see, towering over the city. And don't forget the little things: the smell of freshly baked bread, the sound of an accordion, and the taste of a perfect croissant. Now let's talk about food, shall we? No trip to Paris is complete without indulging in culinary delights. Buttery croissants, delicate macarons, and crusty baguettes. Paris is a foodie's paradise, with Michelin-starred restaurants and charming bistros. You could spend weeks eating your way through the city, and honestly, I wouldn't blame you if you did. All right, let's talk about Rome, the city of gladiators, emperors, and enough pasta to satisfy even the hungriest tourist. I mean, we're talking mountains of spaghetti, oceans of carbonara, enough ravioli to build a Colosseum. And speaking of the Colosseum, you can't go to Rome without seeing this iconic amphitheatre. Picture this: thousands of years ago, gladiators battling it out right there. The roar of the crowd, the drama, the history. It's enough to make you want to don a toga and shout, "Are you not entertained?" Don't worry, I won't judge much. Just imagine the selfies. But Rome isn't just ancient history. It's a vibrant modern city with delicious food, stunning art, and a certain joie de vivre. Trust me, you'll want to say ciao bella to this Italian gem. Now, no trip to Rome is complete without a visit to the Trevi Fountain. Legend has it, if you toss a coin over your shoulder into the fountain, you're guaranteed to return to Rome someday. Personally, I threw in a whole fiver just to be safe. You know, in case I need an extra espresso or two on my next visit. And believe me, after you've tasted real Italian coffee, you'll be hooked. But the Trevi Fountain isn't the only place to soak up the magic of Rome. From the Spanish Steps to the Pantheon, every corner you turn is like stepping into a postcard. Just be sure to wear comfy shoes, because you'll be doing a lot of walking. But hey, at least you can reward yourself with some gelato afterwards. Next up, we're off to Barcelona, Spain, a city bursting with sunshine, sangria, and the most incredible architecture you've ever seen. We're talking about the whimsical creations of Antoni Gaudí, a man who clearly marched to the beat of his own very colourful drum. His masterpiece, the Sagrada Familia, is like something out of a dream. I mean, have you ever seen a church with so many spires? It's like a giant sandcastle designed by a team of incredibly skilled pastry chefs. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Parc Güell is another Gaudi wonder, with its mosaic-covered benches, whimsical buildings, and stunning views of the city. You'll feel like you've stepped into Alice in Wonderland. But don't just take my word for it, you need to see these architectural marvels for yourself. Just be prepared to have your mind blown. Now, Barcelona isn't just about architecture, it's also a city that knows how to have a good time. From the bustling markets to the beautiful beaches, there's something for everyone. And let's not forget about the food. Tapas, paella, churros. I'm getting hungry just thinking about it. Barcelona is a foodie's paradise with fresh seafood, delicious cured meats, and enough bread to satisfy even the biggest carb lover. And after a long day of exploring, what better way to unwind than with a refreshing glass of sangria on Las Ramblas, Barcelona's most famous street. Just watch out for pickpockets. They're as much a part of the scenery as the street performers and flower stalls. So pack your bags, grab your sunglasses, and get ready for an unforgettable adventure in Barcelona. Hold on to your stroopwafels, folks, because we're about to dive into Amsterdam, a city so charming it should come with a warning label. I mean, with its picturesque canals, colourful houses, and more bicycles than you can shake a tulip at, it's easy to fall head over heels for this Dutch delight. Imagine this. You're cruising down a canal, the gentle rocking of the boat, the sun warming your face, the smell of fresh stroopwafels wafting through the air. It's enough to make you want to sell all your possessions and buy a houseboat. And speaking of houses, have you ever seen such adorable buildings? They're like gingerbread houses come to life, all tall and narrow and painted in the most delightful colours. It's like walking through a storybook. Now, Amsterdam isn't all just canals and cute houses, it's also a city steeped in history and culture. A visit to the Anne Frank house is a must, a poignant reminder of a dark chapter in human history. And for the art lovers out there, the Van Gogh Museum is an absolute must-see. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of Starry Night? It's like staring into the soul of an artist, except, you know, less intense eye contact. But Amsterdam's cultural scene doesn't stop there. From the Rijksmuseum, home to Dutch masters like Rembrandt, to the Heineken experience, where you can learn all about the history of everyone's favourite Dutch lager, there's something for everyone. Just be sure to pack your walking shoes, because Amsterdam is best explored on foot, or by bike if you're feeling adventurous. All right, mates, buckle up because we're off to Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. This place is straight out of a fairy tale book. Cobblestone streets, colourful buildings, and a big old castle on a hill. You'll feel like you've wandered onto a movie set. Escape with hot chocolate in winter or a cold pilsner in summer, the Old Town Square has the famous astronomical clock. This isn't your average timepiece. Every hour it puts on a show with mechanical figures. It's like a medieval Times Square. Prague is a feast for the eyes. Discover hidden courtyards, Gothic cathedrals, and the Vltava River. Enjoy peace and quiet while soaking up history. Now, no trip to Prague would be complete without a stroll across the Charles Bridge. This iconic bridge is like the main artery of the city, connecting the old town with the lesser town. You'll find street performers, artists selling their wares, and tourists from all walks of life. It's a bit of a squeeze, especially during peak season, but that's all part of the charm, innit? Just imagine you're walking across this bridge, hundreds of years old, with the Vltava River flowing beneath you and the Prague Castle watching over you from above. It's enough to make you want to burst into a spontaneous rendition of Don't Stop Me Now. And speaking of the Prague Castle, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to explore this massive complex. It's actually more like a small city than a castle, with palaces, churches, gardens, and even a former brewery. You can easily spend a whole day here and still not see everything, but trust me, it's worth the trek up the hill. Not only is the castle itself impressive, but the views from up there are absolutely breathtaking. You can see the whole city spread out before you with its red rooftops, church spires and winding streets. It's enough to make you feel like you're on top of the world, or at least on top of Prague. Right, lads and lasses, get ready to don your kilts and practice your best Sean Connery impression because we're headed to Edinburgh, Scotland. This city is a right cracker full of history, culture, and more whiskey than you can shake a bagpipe at. Not that you'd want to shake a bagpipe, they seem quite delicate. Edinburgh is a city of contrasts. You've got the medieval old town with its narrow winding streets and the Georgian new town with its elegant squares and gardens. It's like two cities for the price of one. And perched atop an extinct volcano, how cool is that, sits Edinburgh Castle, keeping a watchful eye on it all. Now, Edinburgh Castle is more than just a pretty facade. It's seen it all, from royal banquets and bloody battles to sieges and even a brief stint as a military prison. And it's said to be one of the most haunted places in Scotland, so keep your wits about you, especially if you're prone to seeing ghosts. But don't worry, you don't have to be a history buff to appreciate Edinburgh. The city has something for everyone, whether you're into art, music, food, or just soaking up the unique atmosphere. And if you happen to be there during the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, prepare to be amazed by street performers, comedians and artists from all over the world. Now, while you're in Edinburgh, you can't miss a wander down the Royal Mile. This historic street stretches from Edinburgh Castle all the way down to Holyrood Palace, the Queen's official residence in Scotland. It's a bustling thoroughfare packed with shops, pubs, restaurants and historic landmarks. You could easily spend a day just exploring all the nooks and crannies of the Royal Mile. Pop into a traditional pub for a wee dram of whiskey, pick up a kilt for a souvenir. Go on, you know you want to. Or just soak up the lively atmosphere. You might even catch a glimpse of the 1 o'clock gun firing from Edinburgh Castle. And if you're feeling adventurous, why not venture underground into the Edinburgh vaults? These eerie chambers beneath the city were once used as storage spaces, workshops, and even living quarters for the poorest of Edinburgh's residents. Today they're said to be haunted by the spirits of those who lived and died there. Spooky. But fear not, Edinburgh has plenty of cheer to balance out the spooky stuff. Be sure to check out the National Museum of Scotland for a fascinating glimpse into the country's history and culture. And if you're a fan of the arts, don't miss the Scottish National Gallery, home to an impressive collection of paintings, sculptures and more. Right, chuck on your sunnies and grab your swimsuit because we're jetting off to Dubrovnik, Croatia. This stunning city sits right on the Adriatic coast and is known for its beautiful beaches, sparkling waters and ancient city walls that look like they've jumped straight out of a history book or maybe even a certain popular TV show. Now, Dubrovnik's Old Town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and for good reason. It's an absolute stunner with its terracotta rooftops, marble streets and those impressive city walls I mentioned earlier. Seriously, these walls are no joke. Built between the 13th and 17th centuries, they encircle the entire Old Town and offer some of the best views in the city. Trust me, you haven't truly experienced Dubrovnik until you've taken a walk along those walls. It's a bit of a workout, mind you, with plenty of steps and inclines, but the views are more than worth it. You'll see the entire Old Town spread out before you like a miniature model village with the sparkling Adriatic Sea as its backdrop. And speaking of the Adriatic Sea, make sure you pack your swimsuit because no trip to Dubrovnik is complete without a dip in those crystal clear waters. Whether you prefer lounging on the beach, taking a boat trip to a nearby island, or trying your hand at some water sports, Dubrovnik has something for everyone. Now, while Dubrovnik's Old Town is undeniably the main attraction, don't be afraid to venture beyond the city walls and explore the surrounding area. Just a short cable car ride up Mount Sjoerd offers jaw-dropping panoramic views of the city, the coastline, and the Elefiti Islands. Up there, you'll also find a restaurant with some of the best views in town. Picture this. You're tucking into a delicious plate of fresh seafood, a glass of local wine in hand as you watch the sun slowly dip below the horizon, painting the sky in a riot of colors. It's the kind of moment that makes you want to pinch yourself, just to make sure you're not dreaming. Back down at sea level, a short ferry ride will take you to Lochram Island, a peaceful oasis, just a stone's throw from the bustling city. This car-free island is home to a Benedictine monastery, a botanical garden, and a saltwater lake known as the Dead Sea. Don't worry, it's not actually dead. And if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, you'll recognize Lochram as the filming location for the city of Qarth. Keep an eye out for peacocks. They roam the island freely. Dubrovnik is a city that has it all: history, culture, natural beauty, and even a touch of Hollywood magic. All right, lovelies, buckle up because we're off to Vienna, Austria. This city is like stepping into a fairy tale with a classical music soundtrack, and I'm not talking about one of those cheesy elevator music versions of Mozart. I'm talking full-on orchestra, hitting those high notes. First up, you've got to visit the Schönbrunn Palace. This place is massive. I'm talking 1,441 rooms, massive. Imagine trying to find your mate in that lot after a row, eh? You'd need a map and a packed lunch, but seriously, it's absolutely stunning, with gardens that seem to go on forever. Perfect for a romantic stroll or a good old-fashioned game of hide-and-seek. And speaking of grand, let's not forget the Hofburg Palace. This was the winter residence of the Habsburg rulers, and it's absolutely dripping in history and opulence. You can practically hear the echoes of waltzing emperors and empresses as you walk through the halls. And listen, if you bump into any ghosts while you're there, tell them James sent you. They might just give you a tour for free, but be warned, they might ask for a waltz in return, and trust me, no one wants to see that. Now, after all that sightseeing, you're going to work up an appetite, and let me tell you, Vienna does not disappoint when it comes to food. Obviously, you can't go wrong with a classic Wiener Schnitzel. But here's a little cordon tip for you. Try it with a side of potato salad. It's a match made in culinary heaven. And for dessert, you've got to try the Sachertorte. This decadent chocolate cake is practically an institution in Vienna. It's rich, it's chocolatey, and it's guaranteed to satisfy your sweet tooth. And while you're enjoying your meal, why not wash it down with a Viennese coffee? They take their coffee seriously here, and there are so many different types to choose from. Don't be afraid to ask for a recommendation. The locals are a friendly bunch and they love to share their love of their city. So there you have it, Vienna. It's a city that's got it all: stunning architecture, rich history, delicious food, and enough charm to make even the most cynical traveller swoon. All right, folks, get ready to experience a whole different kind of magic as we jet off to Reykjavik, Iceland. This place is like nowhere else on Earth. It's a land of dramatic contrasts, where glaciers meet volcanoes, and the northern lights dance across the night sky. Now, one of the coolest things about Reykjavik is its geothermal pools. Imagine this: it's freezing outside, snow is falling, and you're relaxing in a steaming hot pool surrounded by stunning natural beauty. That's the magic of Iceland for you. And speaking of natural wonders, you can't miss the Gullfoss waterfall. It's a truly awe-inspiring sight, with water cascading down two tiers into a rugged canyon. It's enough to take your breath away, or maybe that's just the Icelandic wind. But seriously, bring a good jacket, it gets a tad breezy out there. Now, if you're feeling adventurous, hop on a snowmobile and explore the vast Icelandic glaciers. It's an experience you won't forget, zipping across the ice like a modern-day Viking. Of course, no trip to Iceland is complete without chasing the northern lights. I mean, come on. Who hasn't dreamed of witnessing this celestial spectacle? It's like Mother Nature's own laser show, and it's absolutely breathtaking. Now, listen carefully, because I've got a hot tip for you. Download a Northern Lights app to track the best viewing times. Trust me, it's worth staying up late for. And while you're out and about, make sure to check out the local nightlife. Reykjavik may be small, but it has a surprisingly vibrant music scene. You might even catch a local band playing traditional Icelandic music. And if you're feeling peckish after a night out, don't worry. There are plenty of late-night eateries serving up delicious Icelandic fare. I'm talking about hearty lamb stews, freshly caught fish, and maybe even some fermented shark if you're feeling brave. But I'll warn you now, that last one is not for the faint of heart. Well, folks, there you have it. Our whirlwind tour of Europe's top 10 must-see spots for 2025 has come to an end. From the sun-drenched Greek islands to the icy landscapes of Iceland, we've covered it all. I hope this little adventure has inspired you to pack your bags and experience the magic of Europe for yourselves. Remember, it's not just about the destinations, it's about the memories you make along the way. So go out there, explore, try new things, and embrace the unexpected. And who knows, maybe you'll even bump into me at a Viennese coffee house or a Reykjavik pub. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through Europe's top spots for 2025. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your favorite travel destinations in the comments below. Until next time, happy travels.